is going to be a powerful one because the testimony of today's couple is going to help a lot of marriages today. So if your marriage is struggling or if you've been through some adversity, you don't want to miss this episode. What's up, Brave Hearts community? We are back with season 11 of A Scary to Be Married. Can you imagine? Like that's crazy. 11 seasons in, and I'm excited. And we are ready for round two. Today's guest, our first time guest on the show, I want to bring up a little bit about them. They are the host of the podcast, You Stuck With Me, and their testimony is going to be a powerful one. So I want to jump into this. Bravehearts community, let's show some love to Marquis and Taylor Williams. How are y'all doing this evening?
We're good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm great. I'm excited about hearing you all testimony. We got a chance to talk on the phone, and so this episode is going to be a special one. Shout out to Danny Marie for connecting us. She's been amazing and helping us in this process. So I wanted to talk about uh, first of all, how did the two of you meet?
So it's a funny story. We have my version, her version, and then the truth, which is
Which is
actually
my
my version.
My version is the truth.
But I'm chivalrous. So ladies first. Go ahead.
So me and Marquise first met in high school. He was a senior, I was a freshman. And I like to joke with him sometimes saying he was a cradle robber because he was plotting on me a little bit, trying to ask me out. But before he even got to that point, we came from a small high school, so we had the same gym period. And I was just over at on the bleachers, pointing, talking to one of my best friends. You know how high schoolers do, right?
Yeah.
And he comes over and he sits next to me and he lifts up under my shirt sleeve like that. You need to fix all that. So he was talking about my underarm hair, right? And me being a freshman, I'm like, I'm still trying to learn my body,
Yeah.
everything like that. And I told my mom about it. She was like, "Well, you are at that age where," I'm like, "Whose side are you on?" So the next time I saw him, he did the same thing. He was like, "Okay, you did fix all that." And then, so sometime after that, he had the audacity to try to ask me out to go to the movies. And I was like, I'll think about it. I was kind of hesitant because at the time I had a boyfriend.
A what?
We're not doing that today.
Okay. A what?
I had somebody I was talking to. I thought that was my boyfriend. But anyway, I said I'll get back to him. So this is where I started the first. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell my part, and then Marquise will tell his part.
Okay.
So I was sick and out of school for like about a week and a half. So of course, out of sight, out of mind. I didn't think nothing about him asking me out, right? Answering his question.
Yeah.
So let Marquise tell it. He will tell you that I curved him, and he had to be a senior in high school, had to hold an L for being curved by a freshman.
Indeed.
But I didn't intentionally curve him. I was out for a week. And I forgot about it. And I always tell Marquise, if he was so serious about it, how come he didn't follow up with me with that?
You could always just came back to me and gave me an answer.
But I was gone for about a week and a half. If I forgot, because I was sick, I forgot. But you can always follow up. Persistence is key.
I guess.
Uh huh.
So everything she said up to that point was true, except for the out of sight, out of mind, consistency, all that. Yeah. So I graduated from high school that year. She graduated sometime later, and she went away to school in Kansas. I went to school in Ohio for my first year, and then I came back home in Illinois. We're from Chicago, South Side of Chicago.
And
So,
Ohio, where in Ohio? Where are you?
Xenia, Ohio, Wilberforce University.
Wilberforce. Well, I'm from Cleveland, so
Okay, cool.
yeah, yeah. Okay, but anyway, go ahead.
So, by the way, Cleveland is a fun city, but we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah, yeah, that's a conversation. But anyway,
So, we're both Greek. She's a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. So she eventually came home, and we met up at a Greek picnic, and we just picked up like old times. Like we just asked, hey, how you been? How you doing? We were just walking around and just talking the entire time. And so after that, we periodically would hang out. She had, her and her friends were doing something, and I had friends who wanted to come. We would kick it. But at the time, I was in a relationship, so nothing.
What?
Touche. So
That's funny.
at the time, I was seeing someone, and it didn't work out. So after a while, one thing started leading to another, and we started dating in 2017. So a month into us dating, I was diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia, which is a blood cancer. So the entire time she was always there with me, making sure that I was taken care of, making sure that I was good. She would even at the time she was working at a rehabilitation center, and she had like a crazy schedule of like 10-hour shifts and everything like that. So sometimes after her shift, she would come over to my hospital suite and she would spend the night. And it was what was easy about it was at the time the hospital was probably like a 12 minute drive from her house. And so with that being said, it was always easy for her to like, okay, I'm coming over, what do you need? And she never missed a beat. So during that time, because of the diagnosis, I had to go into seclusion because I had a compromised immune system. So anything as simple as a common cold could have been catastrophic. So while in seclusion, growing up, I played Madden, every now and then. And then one day I actually turned on the game and I saw something on the main screen. And I'm like, what is this? It's a whole tournament for, I think they were playing for like $5,000. So instead of playing the game, I was watching the tournament. And by that time, the season already started. So I'm like, I want to do this. How do I get into it? Start paying attention, doing some homework, and I'm like, okay. So I started playing. That's I really had all the time I could do because I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So eventually, I was able to come back out in public because my immune system had gotten better. And one of the first things I realized about her that I didn't get a chance to know is that she plays Madden too. And not only does she play Madden, she knows what she's doing.
Wow.
Yeah. So we during that time we're practicing playing the game, going to little tournaments before we go to like the big one. So 2018 we went to our first professional tournament, which was in Jacksonville, Florida, and we did the first day was it wasn't round robin, it was
It was round
okay.
robin.
So first day was round robin, and the second day was elimination. Now I made it to the next day, and so I played a guy who that previous year he was number 17 in the world. So after that, we decided to stick around to see who was going to win the entire tournament. So while we're looking at different players playing, she tells me that she's hungry. So I'm like, okay, let's go get something to eat. Now, where the game lounge was connected to a pizza bar. So we go to the pizza bar and we're waiting for somebody to take our order. And then we hear this pop, and everybody in the pizza bar jumps. And then we're looking at each other like we think it was a balloon, but then it quickly dawns on us that there were no balloons. And then all of a sudden we just hear pop, 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 and somebody opened fire in the tournament. So
Really?
yeah, we were 10 feet away from the door, but we were about 20 feet away from the shooter. Like he was backing out the hallway from where he was shooting. We could see his backside. But I
Wow.
think, ironically enough, the time he was walking in was the time we were walking out, but we didn't know. So she suffered a sprained ankle that kept her out of work for a few months. I had scratches and bruises, but just trying to make sure that we were emotionally, mentally okay. We were able to get out. I got out first throughout the scramble, and then I didn't see her behind me. And then she came out. She was like, "Babe, babe, help me!" So I went back to grab her, and we ran trying to run to safety. And so we came across this elevator. So we were trying to push the button on the elevator, but it wouldn't open. And so on the opposite side of the pizza bar was a Mexican restaurant. So the door is open, and to this day we don't know if it was a language barrier or what. But we said, help us," and the guy actually closed the door on us. And then one of the tournament runners, he came behind us, and he was like, "Oh, help us! There's an active shooter." And I guess he understood active shooter, so he opened the door, and probably about, including us three, maybe 6 to 10 more people rushed the door, and we hid in the bathroom that's connected to the pizza bar. I'm sorry, in the Mexican restaurant connected to the pizza bar, and we just kept our heads low because we didn't know that this guy had what kind of guns he had. He had
Yeah.
guns that maybe with the bullets that pierced through walls. We didn't know anything. So after that whole ordeal, I had to go back into seclusion uh, because of the stress, the leukemia came back. So I'm like, okay, we'll have to do this again. And then the next year, I had a stem cell transplant. So this is summer 2019. I had a transplant, a stem cell transplant. It was successful. So I had to still go into seclusion because it was a whole bunch of radiation and chemo to the point where I lost almost 100 pounds. So by the time I was able to actually get my appetite back, it was November of 2019. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting better. I can, go back outside and be around people. Then COVID hit. So it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going back into seclusion, but at least I'm not as bad as where I was. And
Yeah.
so once COVID kind of like, it wasn't as bad, but it was still bad.
Yeah.
Um, I was able to go back out, and by that time I was able to go back to driving because I couldn't drive. So I was going to my appointments at that time by myself, and at the time I was also staying with my mom because of reasons for recovery. So we would, me and my mom go back and forth like crazy because I wanted to see her, and she was like, "No, no, no, you're not doing this. You're not doing." Typical moms. So eventually, she came up with a way. We did a picnic outside, and before that, she was saying that we don't take enough pictures because by that point, I was thinking about proposing to her. So we did the picnic, and there was a sign that I had them write out that said "the start of forever." Now I didn't want to produce the ring right then and there because it would have been a dead giveaway. But I ended up proposing to her a couple of months later. After that, October 10th of 2020, I proposed to her overlooking Lake Michigan, and she said yes.
Wow.
And then we got married July 16th, 2022.
Wow. Oh, so much to unpack.
Yeah.
That's wow. I'm trying to think, where do I even begin? I mean, that's for so much to happen in that amount of time. Um, I guess that made the bond stronger between the two of you.
It did. It was the incidents that we went through along with COVID, because what we would come to realize is that at the time COVID was either breaking couples up or bringing them closer together.
Yep.
And because of COVID, along with the other incidents, they just brought us closer together, and we were just like really trying to hold on to each other. And so after we got married, uh, everybody was telling us, the things that you guys have been through.
Everybody keeps saying we should write a book. I'm like, we're not in the mindset yet to write a book. I mean, we still what my mom used to always say, keep living. So we still got some living to do and experiences to have before this book happens. But we'll do
Do
a
a
podcast.
podcast.
So we was like, we'll do a podcast, and we came up with, you stuck with me because, as I like saying, we have an unorthodox love story. We went through the sickness and the health, and almost death do us part before we even said I do.
Literally.
Wow.
And so
So,
we
oh, go ahead, Marquise.
So we use our podcast as a testimony to others who are either on the fence about being married, or they're apprehensive, or they're single, or they're walking through their healing journey, or for those who are already married, who've been married longer than us. It'll be like a back down memory lane type of thing. And we just want to show people that, hey, throughout all the crazy things, with the right person, you just won't survive in your marriage, but you'll thrive.
and millennial marriages do exist.
Yes, and we're getting married. We have careers. We're trying to raise kids, and we want to change a lot of the status quos and all the untruths that you see on social media. From like the well, we don't need men, well, we don't need women, then the 50-50 debate and all the crazy things. We want to debunk those things. Like, okay, this is the real deal. Let us tell you what actually happens in a marriage. And sometimes, even on our podcast, we're having therapy because whatever issue we may have that is not seen on the podcast, we actually work it out in real time, and sometimes we'll agree to disagree, sometimes we'll agree. So
Yes.
that's how our podcast and our relationship works, and we've been doing it for a little over 3 years, and we love it. I love spending time with this woman. Just we learn to do a lot of things, and we want to teach others and show others what we learn.
Wow. That's powerful. So we have some questions real quick. So hey Deandra, how are you doing? If you have questions for our guests, feel free to drop them below. So Darnell asked the question, when did when did both of you realize that y'all are in a match to be with each other?
I can go first with that one. One of the things I said I that made me realize that Marquis was my person, he was my match, was kind of before we officially started dating. So around that time when we started to date, I had lost my grandmother and my mom in the same year, months apart.
Mm,
And it was when my mom was in intensive care. I didn't know what to do. Like my mind was just everywhere.
yeah.
And the first reaction I had was, okay, let me reach out to Marquise. Like I need my friend. But prior to that, me and Marquise had this disagreement. I don't even remember what it was about at this point, but we hadn't talked for like 3 weeks. And I just remember I texted him. I said, "Hey, I'm sorry. I have you haven't talked to me in a while, but my mom's in ICU." And I just remember before I sent the other half of the text message, he called. He was like, "Say less. I'm on my way." So him and our other friend Kiki, shout out to her. They came and like spent like months just checking up on me, post before she transitioned, and then after, and everything like that. And I was like, for him to come see about me and sit with me just only as a friend, I can only imagine what he would do when we're in a relationship. And then the
Yeah.
other thing about that too, while Marquise was mentioning about therapy, was before we got really serious about marriage, I had a conversation with him. I just told him like, hey, I just don't feel comfortable um starting this new journey with us, like leading to marriage and everything like that. I don't want to do a disservice to you and not give you my 100% best self. So I think it's not you, it's definitely all me. I need to go to therapy, and I'm gonna go seek out some therapy. And instead of him saying, what do you mean it's not me? Obviously it's something wrong with me, like trying to place the blame on himself. The first thing he asked was, how can I support you in that? And it's just like knowing that he was always been big on creating a safe space for not only himself but for me to even come to him about situations like that without no judgment. I was like, oh yeah, he the one.
Yeah.
He's the one.
And for me it was when I was impatient the first time. She would come she would come in the middle of the night. One time I was in so much pain, and she got up at 2 or 3 in the morning and came and stayed with me. And at that point I knew, I said, I got a good one,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna let her go.
Wow, that's beautiful. I mean, in the midst of going through things. So I have a question. So as I hear you both talk, how, with everything that you all been through, how does uh disagree how do you both handle disagreements now, and when y'all both fall out and stuff like that, when things aren't hitting on all cylinders? Like, do you still look at those as challenges compared to what you all been through, if that makes sense?
I mean,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I get it. I still say that there are challenges, but I would look at them as not as big as a magnitude of that, right? Because again, like I said, we went through sickness and health, and
Yeah.
to almost death do us part before we said I do. So like
Yeah.
when we have those disagreement stuff like that, I don't think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, babe, that we don't think about it as like a big magnitude as what we've been through in the past, but it's still significant. Like, okay, we need to resolve this because when we get into disagreements,
Look.
it's like everything that can happen on a bad day happens, like the worst imaginable. Like car won't. We went through car not starting because we not in sync. Uh,
Supervisor snapping on us for things that
supervisor
we didn't
snapping
do.
off on us when I was working in healthcare. Patients who usually be cool or chill, they just want to be extra a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and it doesn't resolve until we say, you know what, babe, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The mo the moment we say I'm sorry and we apologize to each other, everything's way better.
Everything's calm.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, how do y'all resolve issues within your marriage? Is it just a I'm sorry, or is there some kind of secret sauce to that?
Ooh, well,
Well,
one.
it's not necessarily a secret sauce, but it's just us getting to know each other's debate style. So we don't necessarily call them arguments. We call them spirited debates. So and it wasn't like that all the time. It was just over time when we didn't agree on something. But from the beginning, I wanted to like just talk about it right then and there. She didn't want to do that, so it caused issues that didn't necessarily need to happen, but it happened for us because we needed to learn it.
Yeah.
So once we start to really learn and understand each other's debate debate styles, and not just try to answer just to say something back, and really try to understand where each other is coming from, it made it a lot easier for us to deal with a lot of different things and make it easier for us to understand each other.
And then also too, as Marquis said, one of the reasons he fell in love with me is because I know how to play Madden. So there's been a lot of Madden games to resolve some issues.
That that and I love the fact that she is big on accountability. Because
Mhm.
Lord knows I've come across a lot of women who are just like, oh, I'm not, you did this and I didn't do. I'm like, and she's like, babe, you know what? I apologize. So thank you. How can I make this up to you? When she feels she's in the wrong. And I do the same thing because when I feel like I'm in the wrong, I'll do the same thing. I say, hey, babe, you know what? I'm sorry. How can I fix this? And we also learned that it's not her versus me, it's us versus the problem.
Mm.
Yeah.
So when we figured that out, it's like, oh, okay, it's like a bell, a light bulb went on.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, that's good because there's a book by, I think it's Gary Chapman, about the apology
Uh,
languages.
Yeah,
Five love
love
languages.
languages.
Yeah, and he has the apology languages too.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've heard about that. The
okay.
different ways to apologize or accept
Yeah.
this apology.
Yeah. And that's why I was asking, because a lot of couples struggle with apologizing, um, without it being like this backhanded, I'm sorry, but if you wouldn't have did this, it's
Hmm.
like you're messing up the whole apology. you know,
Like the apology is null and void.
yeah, and so uh, I even had to learn how to not be defensive in my marriage when I wanted to feel like I had to defend myself about something, or it's just like, no, just take the responsibility and leave it as it is, opposed to trying to say something on the back end. It's like, but it's like, no, just apologize and let it be. Let the cards fall where they may, and everything will be cool. You don't always have to defend yourself, and that's something I had to learn me personally. That's therapy work for me. So that's something that worked. I wanted to. Darnell said nothing like a woman who can get on a video game with.
And look, to top it off, she made history because she's the first woman ever to win a MCS, a Madden Championship Series game. The only woman to ever do it till this day.
Really?
And you got to tell them the tournament story because I wasn't there.
Oh, so I used to do like a lot of local tournaments. So I did a local tournament here in Chicago. It was a few years ago now. And at the time, Marquis couldn't come outside again because he had to understand his immune system was compromised. So I just got two of my girlfriends, and we was just like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey, do y'all want to roll with me to this Madden tournament or whatever?" So we made a girls trip out of it, and it was funny because we walked in, it's like all these guys in here, and they just assumed that we was just there to watch, or just trying to flirt with some of the guys, whatever, like that, whatever. And then till they see me get up to the chair and sit down, they was like, "Oh, you play?"
Yeah.
They was like, I was like, "Yeah, I play and everything," and they was like, "Oh, well, this is gonna be a cakewalk."
Yeah.
No, no. So, and I don't like to brag on myself, so I'm humble with it.
Yeah.
So next thing I know, I remember this exactly. I played with the Saints with Alvin Kamara at the time, and I forgot what the other player was. But anyway, next thing I know, I remember one touchdown turned into two, turned into three, and then all these guys are around me now. They looking like, oh, like she not play.
Yeah.
And I beat that guy so bad. I remember he made a joke talking about, you know what? I'm just gonna become your coach now. I'm be your coach for
So
the
what?
next game.
So what she told me. So from what she told me that night, she was telling me like they did like everybody was surrounding her and they were doing it like old school. Like you put money
Money on
right,
the table.
put money on the table right there. Nobody touched the money. Watching her play, it was crazy.
But the most crazy thing was they accused me of having a floating controller. That's the part Marquise wanted me to tell. So
That's
that
funny.
I was being that good that one game that they took my controller, they examined it, and they're like talking about, oh, she just rigged it, and she wasn't even holding it. It was just floating like this. I'm like, come on now.
But then
That's
see, the thing about it was one of the things that we learned at that tournament that we went to in Jacksonville is that you can go and make your own personalized controller. So her controller had her name on it and her favorite team. That was the only thing different than any other
Yeah.
normal controller. But
God.
that's one. Even though I wasn't there to see it, I was proud of her because she stepped out and did something without me, and that was another thing that we learned in our marriage is just having your own me time. Now, granted, what she did, she could have went out with her girls, and they could have went to a restaurant, like she went to a tournament and she balled out. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the things you got to be able to also do while you're in marriage. You got to make sure that you don't lose yourself in the marriage.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Because I think your other running back probably was Mark Ingram.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Probably was Mark Ingram. I'm a football fan. I just thought I would say that. What was I about to say? Yeah, like you said, not losing yourself in the marriage. I think that's important because I know a lot of women, I know a lot of wives struggle with that. Like I've given myself to my husband, these kids, and I don't even know who I am anymore. Some couples they get divorced and they don't know who they are. They've given so much of themselves away that they lost their own individuality. And so even in our marriage, like this is my little own individuality. I like to be able to connect with couples and the things that I do with divorce and remarriage. And so um, this fills my cup, getting to meet awesome people like y'all. I wanted to ask the question. So what kept you together through all of this? Would you say it's love? Would you say it's the way you were raised? Like what kept y'all together?
Yeah, I'll go first. First, I'll say that it was God that kept us together because we were both coming from spaces where she always told me that because of the loss of her grandmother and mother, she had all this love that she has and she wanted to give. And me, I was coming from a place of where uh, my previous relationship didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but I also had to learn how there were some things that I need to improve upon on myself. And I prayed to God, I said, I want the next woman that I date to be my wife. And then, God has a sense of humor, and he was probably like, oh, really? I got you.
Yeah.
And so we ran into each other, and then the rest has been history. I don't try to change her; she doesn't try to change me. She's open to learning and seeing new things. Me likewise. Um, we just love spending time together, and we learn to make just about anything a date. Going to the grocery store, a date. A ride down Lakeshore Drive, a date. Movie, a date. I taught her how to play chess, a date. Um, Playing Madden, a date. We just learn how to turn any and everything into a date. And we're making sure that we spend not just quantity time with each other, but quality time.
Mm,
Because this she's also become the person that I know I can have a safe space with, and that she doesn't look at me and like, oh, you a grown man, stop crying. No, no, no. No,
yeah,
she's like, okay, you know what? Talk to me, babe. What's wrong? And she she says the things that I need to hear, not that I want to hear. And I respect her a lot for that, because not a lot of people can do that.
yeah. Love
I
it.
say for me, it's a mixture of a lot of things. So of course it was God that really spearheaded everything with me being able to see him through all that.
Mm,
And then I say it was a mixture of how I was raised and what I saw growing up. So again, like Marquis touched on a little bit, I said to him, part of it is I lost my mom and my grandma. They were like my immediate family. They were my core. Like the three of us, it was like a lot of love there.
yeah,
And my mom, basically, she was a single mom. My dad was around, but I had lost him at a certain age too. So it was just that's all who I knew was my mom.
mm,
So combination of that, seeing being around, growing up with strong women, and then their relationships, I saw that I wanted and what I don't want, and
yeah,
things that I saw that work for them that won't necessarily work for me. So that was one thing. And then also too, how I was raised. One thing I always accredit to like all the women in my family, uh, having that mindset, like when you really love somebody, it could be a partner, it could be a husband, it could be like a family member, or amongst my mom and my aunts, who all unfortunately passed away too. Even though they would go with times without speaking to each other, they would be there for each other, right? No matter what. Like when you just being raised on, like when you really love and care for somebody, you be there for them. It don't
yeah,
matter if you haven't talked to them in like days, months, or whatever, but that's your person that you really love and care about. You're gonna be there for them. So a mixture of God, that, and then I just knew Marquise was my person. I was like, I not joke with him now. I was like, I just don't wake up 3 in the morning for everybody, right?
yeah.
All the stuff I did for you in the hospital, there was only one other person I did that for, and that was my mom. So
Mm,
you special. You
mm,
special.
yeah,
Something else. Both of us come from divorced parents. So my parents divorced when I was 21. I saw some things in their marriage that I'm like, okay, I want, and there's some things that I didn't want.
yeah,
But I almost want to say from a young age, I always wanted to be married. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to raise kids, and just the fact that I found this beautiful woman, and she balances me out, and I balance her out, and it's like a hand in glove. And my mom said this prior to us getting married. She said, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought y'all were two sides of the same person.
yeah,
Because everything, for the most part, everything I like, she likes. She was always told growing up that like no man wants no hard woman, this, that, and the
Man,
third.
I used to be told that all the time. I used to always be told, "Don't no man want a tomboyish girl or a hard woman that always into gym shoes and video games and all that." But apparently, I proved some people.
Shit.
all right. Nah, yeah, don't believe the hype. That's real. You can find
So
somebody, a woman like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
so I'm happy where I'm at. I have no complaints. This is my person. This is my wife. This is the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, and I have no shame in saying it.
yeah, love it, love it. So, what advice do you have for couples going through hard times?
You want to go first? Dad?
I would say, remember your why. Why did you choose to embark on this journey with this person? Um, why, why them? And some relationships unfortunately don't make it. Some do stand the test of time. But what I always say that is remember your why, and then also to ask yourself, have you literally exhausted all the resources and energy that you have to make it work? Like we always say we tired, right? But to me, there's tired and there's fatigued. You
Mm.
tired, you could just easily, go away somewhere, go lay down, take a power nap, you good.
Yeah.
Fatigue, fatigue, you went to sleep for like 7, 8 hours and you wake up, you even more sleepy than when you were. And you
Mm.
feel like you don't use everything in your power, like everything. Like you tried therapy, you tried communication skills, you just feel like you gave it your all. Now when you feel like you gave it your all, then I'm not saying you should stay, I'm not saying you should leave, but you move accordingly to what you feel like you have done. So
Yeah.
that my two things. Remember your why, and then ask yourself, if you ever get to that real critical point, have you literally done or used up everything?
Mm. Love it.
I would say make sure that you keep your friendship at the core of it because, and she'll probably attest to this, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but there'll be times where you love each other but you don't like each other.
Mm.
You'll have those times, and it's okay because that's just part of the ups and downs of marriage. Marriage
What?
is not easy, but with the right person, it's definitely worth it.
Yep.
And so when we do our podcast and we talk to our friends who are single, and as a guy, I express to a lot of ladies who say they're trying to find that person. What's love without a little heartbreak? Because yeah, I went through heartbreak trying before I found her. She went through heartbreak before she found me.
Yes.
So when you find your person and you know it's your person without a any doubt in your mind, and this is the part where we it kind of gets funny. Get out the dating pool.
Yeah.
Get out the dating pool because we keep hearing that it's nothing but piss in the dating pools. We know, and we let people know. We know it's hard. We've been there. We haven't been in a dating pool in about 8 years, but we know it's hard, especially when our friends around us are saying that they have a hard time finding their person. I
Yeah.
say don't give up, but just know that you're gonna kiss some frogs before you find your prince or princess.
That's true. Totally agree. Yeah, you both been married for 8 years, so that was what, 2017?
So we started dating in 2017, but we didn't get married till 2022.
Oh, okay, got you, got you.
Mhm.
Okay, okay, yeah, because my wife and I, we've been married for 8 years, and we met on Instagram. I slid in her DMs, and we dated long distance, and married 6 months later, and here we are, 8 years later. So um, I was about to say we got married at the same time, around the same time, So yeah, this has been a phenomenal episode. Thank you both so much for sharing your story. Let everyone know how they can get in touch with you, how they can hear the podcast, anything special you got coming up. Let us know.
Okay, so you can find us on IG and TikTok and Facebook. You stuck with me underscore podcast. That is USTCKWITME underscore podcast. I'm gonna slow it down because I know that I said that fast. USTUCKWITME underscore podcast. You can find me personally. I'm sorry, guys. You can find me personally on IG and on TikTok. I run our TikTok page, but my IG page is mine underscore one. That is M1NE underscore one. You can find my beautiful wife at.
You can find me on Instagram and the app formerly known as Twitter under Queen Points. That is PO1NTZ. That is Queen Points. PO1NTZ. And also, you can follow me on TikTok as well for behind the scenes footage on how I always get on Marquis' nerves with my singing, my yawning, me just poking and prodding him all behind the scenes before recording of our episode under Queen Points 22.
And if you want to listen to our podcast, you can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we're on YouTube. And if you guys want to email us, because we do like to read letters in our episodes when we get them, you can email us at you stuck with me at gmail.com. That is USTUCK witme@gmail.com.
And Sean, you stuck with us now too.
Hey, for sure. I love it. I love it. No, you both have a inspirational story. I think, especially in today's time, in today's culture, where people break up, and divorce over the smallest things, and so to hear your testimony is powerful to give people really something to think about. Like, okay, we're gonna divorce because we don't like each other in this season. So
You know,
power.
I'm glad you said that because I want to quote this because Michelle Obama said this. I never forgot it. She said that if we're going through 20 years of marriage, but 10 of them were hard, I would still stay in that marriage because it was 10 good ones.
Hey, I mean, that's marriage. That's marriage for you. I always tell Marquise, I love him like a Friday, but sometimes he get on my nerves like a Monday.
I love
No, no arguments. No
But I
arguments.
still love
That's a good one. And marriage, and I always tell people, marriage is, to me, in my opinion, is the fastest track to maturity. If you let marriage have its work done to you, right? If you let marriage be marriage, I think it's the fastest track to maturity, because I learned how to sacrifice. I learned how to become better because I'm sharing my life with this woman, and having children together, and we doing life every single day, and knowing that, if our marriage is good, I know how to treat people outside of my home because I've learned patience at home. I've learned trust, in our home. I've learned all these different things. Not like I didn't know them before I married, but it's it's times 10 being married to one person, you know.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And one thing that we also learned is that we're not going to stay the same that we were when we first got married or even when we started dating. I've watched her evolve into a different Taylor, and she's watched me evolve into a different Marquise. And that's part of the growth of not just us as individuals as our marriage, but we've learned to adjust to the new spouse every day because what she likes yesterday she's probably not gonna like tomorrow, and vice versa. And we gotta learn to be okay with that. And sometimes what happens is where one partner continues to grow and the other one is stagnant, and then you just have this, you guys are fighting and clashing and all these things. So she grows, I grow. I don't try to stunt her growth. She doesn't try to stunt my growth. Matter of fact, we love to pour into each other so that we can keep growing, so we can keep our marriage fresh and keep it the way that we want it. Because we've learned two important things. We learned the importance of please and thank you, and the importance of the way we start our marriage is the way we want to end it.
Yes, that is so good. Yeah, you said the please and thank you. Those are some highly underrated words that people, they're highly underrated words. Because sometimes people will be like, well, we married, why say please and thank you? Because you should.
Yes.
So yeah, I love that. I'm glad you said that because yeah, that's a gem. Well, thank you once again, everyone. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share this video with someone because you never know what someone is going through. Put this video in your group chat, share it with your friends, and you can really get a great perspective on marriage from today's couple. This is Sean Heineman with my special guests. Is it this one? Okay, yeah. Maurice, Marquis, and then Taylor Williams. We are out.